Now, most people read superhero comics for the action and adventure and fighting. So it is a skill to be able to write a comic that has little to no action, and this one does, and it still be extremely good. So hats off to you, Kieron Gillen. My name is Dorian. This is SEM Comics. We are continuing our coverage of Fall of X with Immortal X-Men number 14. Our story takes place 10 weeks after the Hellfire Gala. I like it when it says Krakoa, population of 1, and it's Professor Xavier. Now, I do like how some of these stories are kind of lining themselves up. Like, we just got finished covering X-Men Red, and the war took place 70 days after. This is 10 weeks after. What's 10 weeks? 70 days. Yay. It shows you know how to do basic math and you know how the calendar works, so you weren't a complete idiot in school. Now stay on task and get back to the story. He's lucky I'm part-time, because if I was full-time, I would have to stick my whole foot in. Anyway, this particular scene happened at the Hellfire Gala. So on the next page, we got Raven, and she don't know the Red Triangle Protocol. All she knows is she don't like to be told what to do. So she's resisting just based off her spite. And it pisses Charles Xavier off, and he's like, leave, Raven. He starts using all of his power. It pretty much overloads her mind, and then she goes crashing out of a window and onto some rocks. So she is dead. So come to find out, Destiny went to Charles during the Hellfire Gala and was like, if something happens, I need you to get Raven out by any means necessary. Now, it was a little bit extreme what he did, but she did say by any means necessary. And so now he's just kind of reliving the events of what happened at the Hellfire Gala. So for 10 weeks, this man's been sitting on his beach just reliving this horrible thing that happened. That's crazy. So now we go back in time to one day after the gala, and we have Mr. Benedict Arnold himself, Sebastian Shaw, and his new partners Orchis are pretty much telling him that he needs to get rid of his X gene and to take this shot, and he is more than happy to do that. So he takes a shot and he is like, no longer a mutant. Though honestly, I really wasn't a mutant, I just had the X gene. And OJ Simpson said, I'm not black, I'm this OJ. Okay. Sebastian Shaw is being just as delusional. But now this is where being delusional is funny as hell. So then he goes, now that nasty piece of business is over, come on, Teresa, give me an analysis. Tell me how rich I am. She goes, my name is not Teresa. He goes, the amount of money I'm paying you, new Teresa, you're Teresa. I'm like, he got the asshole thing down pretty good. He goes, if you are rich enough, the world is exactly what you say it is. Now give me those analysis. She goes, your accounts are unchanged. And he goes, how is that? I own Krakoa. Krakoa is mine. And she goes, you own the island, but you don't own the finances. So Sebastian Shaw's like, well, who has that? She's like, I'm trying, sir. They're shell companies. I'm trying. And he goes, well, just find out. And why are you quivering? What, you thought I was going to throw you out the building or something? I'm not a bloody supervillain, for fuck's sakes. I'm a businessman. Delusional. So he goes to a Hellfire Club, and one of the waiters is like, sir, you can't. He's like, give me a drink when I'm finished. I'm going to my private room. And then he goes, motherfucking righteous. Get down here, you lying bitch. I mean, this dude is going in. And Mother Righteous appears, and she goes, quiet. I still got a banging hangover from the gala. And she goes, what can I do for you? And he goes, you could give me a country's worth of funds. It's like we had a deal. And he goes, yeah, but you made a deal with a magician, a magic user, not a businesswoman. And when you make a deal with a storyteller, in the story, your deal is not quite what you want. And he goes, I'll destroy you for this. And she's like, you'll try. But see, you broke a deal with your little quiet council. So right now, my little ducky, you're in danger. So she disappears, and he is surrounded by Hellfire security. And these dudes ain't playing. I mean, they got shotguns. And they're like, you need to leave immediately. I mean, come on, y'all. Like, there's guns, and then there's shotguns. Like, you know, when you hear the sound, it's time to go. You know, but if he had his mutant power, then this wouldn't be an issue. But oh, I forgot, he wasn't really a mutant. So they're pretty much letting him know that his membership has been canceled. He's walking out, he's like, where's my damn whiskey? And the waiter's like, your membership's been, he's like, give me that whiskey, I'm gonna tear your damn head off. But he's not a villain. So his assistant, the new Teresa, comes, and she's like, oh, sir, I found out who owns the Hellfire Club now. And he goes, who? And she's like, Wilson Fisk. the kingpin. Then out of nowhere, Emma starts talking to Shaw in his head, and she's like, "You Wormer man, you're such a disappointment." And Shaw's like, "Hey, where are you at? You're going to get people killed. You better not be on Earth. You know the new rules." And she's like, "I'm somewhere safe. I just had to talk to you. You went for the short deal instead of the long deal. You could have been truly rich. Instead, now you got scraps on the table. You see me, I did it for the children. You did it for sense." So obviously this is happening in his head. So his assistant is thinking like he's having an episode, and she's like, "Sir, do you need medical attention?" And he goes, "No, it's just an old annoying ailment, but it still serves as a reminder." And he goes, "You know what my superpower is, new Teresa?" And she goes, "You can absorb energy and turn it into power?" And he goes, "No. My real superpower is I could take cents and turn it into billions." Start arranging meetings. I need to start exploiting this cocoa thing immediately. Then he draws up the exploitation of cocoa, Shaw Industries overview. I kid you not. So this is supposed to be a 3-stage attack, but he has a 0 stage. I feel like that counts. So I feel like this is a 4-stage attack. The 0 stage is funny as hell. It goes, "Ensure Stark Sentinel's perimeter is secure. Nobody in, nobody out unless we know about it. Ensure Orcus understands that cocoa is sole property of Shaw Industries. Back off. Ensure there are no traps or countermeasures. They're sneaky. Make defensible beachheads." So stage 1, he wants to secure the island and bring in heavy equipment for stage 2. He also wants to secure all the gates because Selene wants them, and he wants to keep Selene happy. So stage 2, they understand. He knows that Doug is gone, that Crow took him in. And so he knows he can't talk to the island. And right now it's like in semi-hibernation. If they can ensure that it stays asleep, then they can start digging into Krakoa, utilizing all of its natural resources, and also getting to the tunnels, getting into the pit to secure who's ever in the pit, grabbing Sinister. And he says, and hopefully Orcus will pay handsomely for it. If they don't pay enough money, we kill his ass on principle. That's not his words. So stage 3 is pretty much get control of the island, and whatever Forge can make, he can profit off of it. So there's only one problem. He knows that Krakoa needs life energy to sustain itself. I think it's mutant energy, not just life energy, but he assuming it's life energy. So he goes, you know what? A death or so a month isn't bad for a factory the size of Krakoa. I'm like, this dude is an asshole. So now we're back up to 10 weeks later. He's still calling this woman New Teresa. He was like, "Can you explain to me why we haven't got out of stage 1 yet?" And to New Teresa's credit, I should really call this woman by her proper name, but this is too funny. She goes, "Stage 1, we haven't got out of stage 0 yet. There is no presence in Krakoa." So Selene's like, "This is embarrassing, Shaw." And she's like, "You over there with a strong pulse," because Selene's an energy vampire. She goes, "Make excuses." He goes, "Every time we go there are monsters on that island. Everybody sees them." And Selene's like, "See, that's what we get for hiring anti-mutant help. Mutants aren't monsters." And the guy goes, "I know what I meant." So then we cut to the island, and you got Emma trying to talk to Charles, but Charles ain't talking back at all. And she's like, "Look, I know you can't sense them and everything else, but that doesn't mean they're dead." And she's like, she reached out to Strange, Reed, T'Challa. She's like, "Look, we're trying to figure this out, but don't give up. I don't think they're dead." And again, Charles is really not talking to her. And then he just goes, "Look, just leave me alone, Emma." And then he hears the minds of some new mercenaries that Shaw has hired, and they come to the beach. He goes over, and they see the same thing that everybody else sees. All the monsters that Charles has conjured up, they do the same thing. They run back to their raft, and they take off. Charles is pretty much like, "As long as I'm here, nobody's getting to this island." So then it cuts to like the middle of a desert, and it says no where or no when. Now that's interesting. And we have Exodus, we got Hope, and we got Destiny. So you got Destiny freaking out. She's talking about she can't see. And Hope's like, "Destiny, calm down. You're blind. Of course you can't see." She goes, "No, I can't see the future. There's nothing but space. Where's Raven? Where's my wife?" And she just starts freaking out some more, and then Hope slaps her. And he's like, "Look, calm down. You are an ice cold bitch. I like that about you. I need you to pull it together." And Exodus goes, "There are 250,000 minds here, and none of them are Mystique or the other 5 for that matter. And he goes, it seems like the whole population of Krakoa is here. You were supposed to go to Morocco, but somehow you made it here to this desert. Your hope's like, we got no food, we got no water, and most of these mutants have no useful powers. What are we going to do? The Exodus pretty much gives a speech and lets everybody know how he has seen this in a vision and he will lead them to the promised land. Just follow him. And Hope's like, what is this way? Exodus goes, a promised land. And she's like, do you know this truly? And he goes, absolutely not, but I got faith. Can somebody please give Moses his walking stick?